we doing? Kayla down, Volton phase faded. Serp. When we last left off, I was engulfed in flames entirely. So the apartment is fine. There was last stream was cut short due to apartment did not burn down. The fire alarm was going off, like not in my apartment, but out in the hallway, up on one of the upper floors. And after a couple minutes, I was like, all right, let me go out there and see what's actually, like, what's going on. And I go out there and I go, like, I'm like, it's not any of the alarms on the first floor going off. And I go up to the second floor, and then I go up to the third floor, and it's like, whoosh, smoke everywhere. Or not like smoke everywhere, just smoke along the ceiling. And there was somebody who had like an oil fire in their kitchen, and I guess it wasn't quite out. I guess those are hard to put out, maybe. I don't know. I've never cooked anything, so I wouldn't know. But after I called 911 and then came back and was like, oh, you guys, I'm gonna end the stream. And then I wasn't sure if they, like, when I was on the phone with 911, they were like, after they had said, okay, you got the address and everything, they're like, okay, and you should, if you're not outside the building, you should leave. And then, I was like, well, maybe I will. Because I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be, so I'm like, okay, just put on pants and shoes and go outside. And I was like, oh, well, I'll go, like, drive somewhere to eat dinner and hang out. And I go to my car, and just as I go to my car, the fire truck pulls up, and it's blocking the front, like, it's blocking the only exit to the parking lot. So I'm like, oh, well, okay. So I'm just sitting in my car for the next, like, 40 minutes until they left. Anyway, here's more Phoenix Wright. I don't actually know, where did we leave off? Oh, that's right. So the guy who died left a dying message spelled out in cards, and I'm sure it was a wonderful bit of wordplay in Japanese. Whatever 7 cards or whatever were laid out, and it's going to be somebody went into the room and rearranged them in order to spell out, that somebody else did it. I'm not the culprit, Serp. Where's your evidence? Shoku arunuka. Yeah, new victim. Cause of death unknown? Or no, was he suffocated? He suffocated, but we don't know how. He was eating a bowl of noodles, and naturally, because somebody just delivered him that bowl of noodles some 10 minutes before, they are obviously the killer. According to Phoenix Wright logic. Like, well, he went into the room, and then he left, and then the next person who went into the room found him dead. There are 2 drink cans in the fridge. We didn't know that. That hasn't come up, so it will obviously matter a lot. And the room is covered in soba flour for some reason. What was the autopsy? Suffocation, but nothing was found in his lungs. So we're going to use this to disprove the fact that he choked on his noodles by accident. What the hell is this? He was confirmed alive at 4 p.m., even though he really wasn't. It was just people heard him talking, heard him reciting his Rakugo theater. And this guy went in, 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, he came out and was shouting. And then this guy went in, was in there for a few minutes, and then said, oh my gosh, he's in here dead. So I don't know what is or is not. Inside the envelope was a ticket to the show and a letter from the victim. A simple greeting and a rundown of the show's program. Gave us to perform a program. When soba glutton. Time soba. Yes. Bury me with my extra sodas. He planned to live long enough to drink 2 more sodas. Nobody would ever commit suicide while possessing soda. It's unheard of. Once you run out, then there's nothing to live for. All right. The time has come for that ponytailed pair over there to finally let it go and move on. Very well. Let's bring in this witness, then. Witness, please state your name and occupation. I am the Rakugo storyteller Wind Tornado. Even if my performance isn't worth watching, I will certainly watch my... Even if my performance isn't worth watching, I will certainly watch my words. I wouldn't want to say anything thoughtless and get arrested. That's cute. The little flappy butterflies. Origami butterflies. After all, that'd be a Raku... No. Oh, am I going to hate you, character? Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Hold it!
Yeah, the three people. the guy who died is named Typhoon Tornado. This guy is Wind Tornado. And the other person is named Gale Tornado, but they didn't spell it like the name Gale. Like that's just a name. That's a joke you could actually make, and it would be an okay name pun because it would be a name. And instead they named her like Gaidu. So it's not. It doesn't look like it looks like a Japanese name, which I guess is fine. Also, she's dressed like a clown, which I hate. You can't leave yet. You've only just introduced yourself. Oh my... All of the fans open. Oh my. Are you a fan of mine, miss? Would you like my autograph? One moment. Ow! What do you think you're doing? No need to stand on ceremony. My fan deserves a fan, after all. Dahlia butterflies. The judge will think he's innocent. Serp, did you make this game? Oh, why, if it isn't Simon, how are you on this fine day, sir? Quite a dilly of a pickle we found ourselves in, wouldn't you say? I don't believe I've ever seen you talk quite so much, you Wendo. Never performed in a place like this, you know. I got butterflies here, can't you see? Why do I always get the weird ones? You don't. Sometimes Phoenix does. And sometimes Apollo does. And every time I do. Pardon me, witness. As much as I enjoy your banter, I believe we had better return to the case at hand. I suppose you're right. In that case, I was promoted to Futatsume yesterday and received the stage name of Window. The show was our way of celebrating my new name and middle rank standing. And then that happened. Ha! I never dreamed something like that had happened, not in a million years. And just as I got my chance to start repaying my debt to Shisho, too. Yeah. Plus, I'm worried about Gator. The way she clung to Shisho, poor thing. I told her to keep a stiff upper lip. Stiff like rigor mortis. Keep telling those lame jokes and Shisho will come scold you from the grave. I wouldn't mind getting yelled at, you know, if it meant seeing him again. You can't blow smoke rings when you're pretending to smoke a fan. Stop that. Those were origami smoke rings. Window, please. As charming as your various characters are, this isn't a Rakugo stage. Let us hear your testimony now, witness. Tell the court about the evidence left at the scene, the proof of the accused's guilt. Oh, is he kneeling on, like, a stack of pillows? Is that a thing? Is that a thing that they do? I guess it is. I noticed Shisho's dying message right away. The stiff cards were right there next to the stiff, you see. Hey now, enough with the silly puns already. Hehe. Anyway, I got the meaning right away. I knew it must have been talking about Bucky. That was the Master's final message, left as he was drowning in soba broth. It's so like Shisho not to write Bucky's name outright. Plain and simple wasn't his style. Well, that was certainly a more entertaining testimony than usual. The variety of characters performed by the witness was absolutely splendid. But he shouldn't be performing any characters in the first place, Your Honor. And Window, the murder weapon hasn't been determined yet. So how can you say that the victim was drowned in soba broth? It's obvious. All you have to do is look at the crime scene. He was found with his face shoved in a bowl. It's only natural to assume he was drowned in the broth for the noodles. Except we're not here to assume things, Wendo, so please stick to just the facts. My, it's so like a soba chef to kill someone this way, wouldn't you say? And with the Karuta message he left behind, it's clear Bucky Wet did it. Setting aside the issue of the murder weapon for now, that dying message certainly does seem to be irrefutable evidence. I'm having so much fun. Guilty. Indeed, it proves the absolute guilt of the accused. Erg. Even I've got to admit, I can't see how that message could mean anything else. Bucky used soba for the deed, all to get back the soba shop deed. This testimony makes Mr. Wet look super guilty. I have to do something. This is conclusive evidence. What a farce. What do you mean, Simon? What's this? I thought you said you weren't planning on asking me for help. Arg! I did, and I won't, thank you very much. Simon must have found an inconsistency in the testimony. I'd better listen carefully and try to see what he found. So I think right now we're going to present the fact that if he had choked on soba broth, then the autopsy would have revealed that. The cards do spell out wet number 4. So again, for anybody who either missed last stream or wasn't paying attention or whatever, there is a traditional Japanese set of cards where you put one of each of the phonetic characters on a card, and then there are games that you can play with them. So he took 7 of those cards and apparently while dying, just before he died, managed to spell something out with 7 of them. They've had to change it to like English word play. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be that you can arrange the cards in some other way to spell something else. I don't know how soon we're going to get to that, but when we do, it's not going to work out. I have no faith in you. I'm sorry, Phoenix Wright localization team. You tried your best. Oh, what was... That happened in the first Dual Destinies case, right? Where there was something written on the ground, and they had to make it spell out something else. There was a number, and they drew in some extra lines in order to turn it into a word. Something like that. Which could be interpreted as Wet Noodle number 4, I guess. I suppose you took this to mean Bucky Wet. There's only one Wet Noodle around here, and you've seen that giant number 4 on his back. It's the only interpretation that makes sense. Yeah, I guess so. But wait a minute. What is it? What if there's another Wet Noodle in the area? What? Did I say something strange?
Bucky is the sole heir to the shop. So enough with the ludicrous straw grasping.
Hey, how was I supposed to know? Yeah, there was that from MGS. Yeah, 4, because Meryl was in it.
Just listen to the testimony again and find the glaring inconsistency.
Alright, we'll worry about that later. We'll just go ahead and present this here. Well, let's press first.
Hold it!
So the victim lined up those cards in his final moments? How can you be so certain that that's how it went down? I know, Shisho. He would never let someone get the last word on him, even in death. With his face in the soba broth and his consciousness fading away, he left a message that pointed toward Bucky as he left this world. It's the only way it could have happened. Wait, the only way? Now you're just speculating. Look, a dying message is something you leave as you're dying, right? I saw a scene like that in a detective show. Wendo, we have a saying in my country, silence is more precious than diamonds. Please do not speak any more than is necessary. But talking is my livelihood, you know. I talk all the time, this and that, truths and untruths. I can't stop myself from talking. Hopefully he'll stick to the truths without any of those untruths. Wrap it up, it's Leon again. 11037. But don't you think it's strange? Could a dying person really leave such a convoluted message? Even in the throes of death, it was in Shisho's nature to throw in a twist somehow. Truly the consummate entertainer till the very end, don't you think? Was he really that great of a man, Simon?
It would have been no easy task, to be sure. But who knows? He wasn't an entertainer for 55 years for nothing.
If I ever bite the big one like that, I want to leave a message as good as Shisho's, hee hee. Well, let's hope it never comes to that. Simon, are all Rakugo artists like this?
It's hard to say. It could simply be the eccentricity of an entertainer, or perhaps he's hiding something.
Well, he doesn't have to entertain people in a court of law. And if he is trying to hide something, maybe it'll show up as a contradiction or something. Alright. Enough stalling. Drowning in soba broth. Objection. Look at this autopsy.
Objection!
There's a contradiction in Uendo's testimony.
And would you care to explain where, Miss Sykes?
He said explain. You can use words. You don't have to use, virtual reality. Certainly, Your Honor. According to the autopsy report, nothing unusual was found in the victim's lungs.
Ah, yes, it does say that, doesn't it?
If he had drowned in a bowl of soba, then there should have been soba broth in his lungs. But since there wasn't any, it means the victim was suffocated with something other than soba broth.
What?
This is the contradiction you noticed, isn't it, Simon?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I guess I showed you. Except how does this invalidate your testimony in any way? His testimony wasn't even saying anything.
But if drowning in the soba broth wasn't the cause of death, then when was the victim's face thrust into that bowl?
Typhoon tornadoes we have no reason to know this. Because no soba broth was discovered in the victim's lungs, his head must have been placed into the bowl after he was killed. And that's when the soba broth must have spilled onto the Karuta cards. Oh, look, you can actually see that they are that they've been reordered. You can tell by the like this one should be fully soaked and it's not. That one belongs up there, that one belongs over there. In other words, the victim could not have lined up the cards as he was drowning.
I see.
It hasn't been put in the bowl yet. This photo is from the future.
But why would the culprit do such a thing?
I'm afraid I don't know yet. No. Who's to say that they didn't A, put his head in an empty bowl first, then choke him, and then after he died, pour soba broth over his face?
Objection.
You boast of psychological expertise, yet you cannot determine such a simple motive? My sides are liable to split at the absurdity. What? And I suppose you know why? Of course. Desecrating the body in that manner indicates a strong sense of enmity on the part of the perpetrator. What if he's not actually dead? What if it was a mannequin the whole time? What if somebody was channeling his ghost and he died 55 years ago? And this whole time, he's been a ghost.
Yes, that does make sense. It certainly paints a clear picture of the culprit's intense feelings towards the victim.
Feelings of resentment over the theft of the soba shop's deed, no doubt. Just great. Now the judge has an even more unfavorable impression of Bucky.
Silence.
There's no soba broth in the lungs because there were no lungs! We can't take photos faster than instant. What if the bird statue suffocated him? I think that's the most likely.
Must you come undone at every juncture? If the culprit had time enough to set up Master Tornado's body, do you think they would have honestly failed to notice the dying message?
Good point. The cards were right in front of his body, after all. Rationally speaking, there's no way the culprit could have missed that, huh? But was the accused rational at the time, given the way he stormed out of that room?
Never mind that. I have something more important to ask, Wendo.
Me?
You saw the Karuta cards firsthand, did you not? Would you care to tell us about them in a bit more detail? Those tiny crime scene photos show us precious little of what I wish to know.
Well, those cards are from Shisho's special Soba Scenes of Tokyo Past set. Each card is related in some way to soba.
Spare me the history lesson. Just tell me how the cards looked at the scene, and no more.
Well, there was soba broth spilled all over them.
That's not much help, I'm afraid. Prosecutor Sadmati, do you have a photo that shows the cards more clearly?
I do. Please accept this meager offering, Your Honor. Wavy, hound, equipment, traditional, nostalgic, ouch, that's very sober related. Oh no, he's doing something with the dough, I guess. Yeah, sure, why not? And 4. If we rearrange, well, they'll ask us to rearrange them, I'm sure.
Well, well. Tearing prosecutor Sad Monk's conclusive evidence apart should be a breeze with this.
Huh?
Don't tell me you haven't noticed.
Don't be silly. Of course I have not noticed anything. But I can't exactly say that now, can I?
Miss Sykes, do you really see a problem with the prosecution's claim about these cards?
Yeah, this is the first thing they've had us do in the trial, basically.
Well, go on then.
All right, it's do or die. All I have to do is study the picture, and these cards were rearranged. These cards were rearranged.
But how can you tell?
Please take a good look at these cards, Your Honor. The answer is right in front of us. Where exactly should we be looking, Miss Sykes? The soba broth stains. Please focus your attention on the soba broth stains on these cards. The outline of these stains don't match up with the larger stain on the table.
Oh, would you look at that? You're absolutely right. And?
Please recall that the soba broth was spilled and got on the cards after the murder, when the victim's face was placed in the bowl.
Yes, go on.
By the stains, we can see that the culprit deliberately rearranged the cards after that. I'm still really curious as to how he managed to deal himself out 7 cards and made out this message while being killed. Perhaps that will come to light. We'll see. In other words, this message was altered in order to pin the crime on my client.
What? Then, if we put the cards back in their original positions,
we can restore the evidence and see who the cards were really pointing toward.
That's true. Pokun?
Then what are we waiting for? Let's do this. All I have to do is rearrange the cards, obviously. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought I had to drag it, and it's just, no, just point there, and then... H card is next. Oh, that's fine. I guess maybe those shapes aren't that similar. I keep thinking I have to drag. It continues to not be the case. No, oh.
Take that!
Owen 4th? So the message, wet number 4, was originally supposed to say Owen 4th. And this original message is our clue to the identity of the true culprit.
What? That indignant look on Prosecutor Sad Monk's face is positively priceless.
The 4th Owen Wilson movie killed him. This is absurd. Maybe the lawyer was smarter than we thought. They can rearrange cards. Order! Order in the court! Well, I never would have imagined that there was more to these cards than meets the eye. Now that that's settled, what does this Owen 4th mean? Wait, am I...
Who else do you think is supposed to provide an explanation? Of course it's you.
But I hadn't thought that far yet. Change the cards around all you'd like, but if you cannot explain what the message means, then it is as worthless as you are, defense. No! And so the spring chick that fancies itself a graceful swan is brought back down to earth. I have to do something, but what?
Still your thoughts for a second. There's a perfectly good witness to question over there.
Oh, right, that's a good idea. Come on, Athena, get a hold of yourself. Wendo... when? Does the phrase Owen 4th mean anything to you? No, there's no one named Owen in the Tornado family, or our circle of friends. Go ahead, ask anybody you'd like. You can't be serious. Having rummaged through your empty mind, I see you have, as expected, turned up nothing.
Silence.
Yeah, if you can't explain the real message, then the explanation for the old message still stands, even though it is established that that message was not by the guilty, or was not by the victim. And what is guilty? Guilty of having been in the room ever.
I'm afraid I have no idea who the devil this Owen 4th is either. But the fact remains that the cards were rearranged to pin the blame on Mr. Wet. That in itself proves that the defendant isn't the real culprit.
Double slam. Prosecutor Blackwell is right. Besides, the important question here is not who does the message point to, but rather, who rearranged the cards?
Why didn't you point that out earlier if you already knew?
Sorry. In any case, there were 2 opportunities for someone to rearrange the cards. The first was when Mr. Wet entered the dressing room, and the second was when Wendo discovered the body. Are you accusing me of rearranging the cards? Me, who came to testify out of the goodness of my heart.
Well, you didn't exactly come running out screaming straight away, did you?
Bones of trees? Bones of trees? I don't get it.
Even a mere 2 to 3 minutes is more than enough time to get up to some devilry. So what exactly were you doing in there, Wendo?
Sip, sip.
Put down the tea and spit out your answer!
Mr. Prosecutor, what's a guy supposed to do at a time like this? Silence is more precious than diamonds, witness. Therefore, you need only stay silent. The defense is devious. Not devilrous. Devious. They are waiting for you to make a slip of the tongue. Oh, I see. So that's what they're after, is it? In that case, Your Honor, I've decided not to say another word. That is not allowed. It's against self-incrimination. You can't just say you're not going to say anything. Whatever. Your right to remain silent is protected by law. Well, Prosecutor Blackwell, any other brilliant ideas you'd like to share?
Did you hear that, Sykes-Dono? A Rakugo artist who's afraid to speak. Who's ever heard of such a thing?
Are you trying to taunt him into talking? LRR. Loading ready run? Okay. Such a petty trick will never work. That's right. I'm not going to fall for it.
I'm only asking to hear your story. Besides, is it not your job to tell tales if there is an audience to listen?
Even so, I have the right to refuse to answer.
The more you keep quiet, the more we want you to talk. That's simply human nature. Isn't that right, people of the gallery?
I guess. Why do they care?
Even with this wonderful audience of you in front of you, you still refuse to talk? If so, then perhaps you chose the wrong line of work, my friend.
Are you saying I should quit? Because I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'll have you know. Oh no, never mind what I just said. It is scary to talk. It's absolutely terrifying. But no, as a Rakugo artist, I must talk. If I don't, how can I ever show my face on stage again? Your Honor, I'm ready to testify. He did it. He managed to convince Wendo with his power of suggestion technique.
Bully for you, Wendo. That's as a real Rakugo artist should be.
All right. If the witness wishes to testify, then by all means, please do.
To be turned by such an obvious ploy, what a man of weak spirit.
In the dressing room. After my performance, I went to visit Shisho. I called to him from outside the room, but he didn't reply. When I entered the dressing room, I saw Shisho slumped over the table, motionless. Judge is baffled that the person on the stand wants to testify. It is rather shocking. From what I can tell, there do not appear to be any inconsistencies in the testimony. Of course there aren't any, because I'm not trying to hide anything. Prosecutor Sadmani's right. I don't see anything inconsistent either. But I did pick up some faint discord in Uendo's heart. Ponder all you would like, defense, but it is pointless. Your Honor, I believe there is no need for further deliberation. I disagree, Your Honor. I detected discord in the voice of the witness's heart. Let the record show that the witness's heart has discord in its voice. That's a clear indication that Uendo is facing some sort of inner turmoil. Yeah, she has psychology powers. She gets to say this. Are you saying what I think you're saying, Miss Sykes? Yes, Your Honor. The defense would like to conduct a quick therapy session on this witness. Uendo, there is no need for you to submit to this so-called therapy. It's fine by me. I have nothing to hide. Bring it on. Impetuous fool. Why will you not listen to the guidance of this humble servant of the Holy Mother? If the witness wishes to proceed, I see no problem, prosecutor.
In one ear and out the other. It seems this performer has no need of your so-called guidance, Prosecutor Sadmonk.
Just know this, Uendo. Your folly will surely earn you divine retribution. Thanks, Simon. I'm going to make the most of this opportunity you created for me. Therapy is helpful, and maybe it can help me with my fan smoking problem. Hey, he can quit any time he wants to.
Just keep your wits about you.
I will. Wendo, could you tell us again about what happened in the dressing room? Gotta make sure you got 100 psychologies before you start. After my performance, I went to visit Shisho, happy. I called to him from outside the room, happy. But he didn't reply, happy. When I entered the dressing room, I saw Shisho slumped over the table, motionless, big sad. Oh, that was it. Okay. I didn't really notice any unexpected emotions in that testimony.
But it isn't always a question of the presence of an emotional response, but the absence.
You know, you're right. It's not always the emotions I do see. Sometimes it's a matter of what I don't, but would expect to see. I better carefully compare Wendo's statements to his emotions again. Okay, so he should have been surprised here. In addition to being sad. Wendo, I'm noticing something strange with these emotions. No, something strange with these emotions. How could you have heard something stranger with cheesy toe skin? I don't know. Maybe it's me who's got some cheese in my ears. Did he will the floor to open up and swallow his cushions out of shame for that bad joke? I believe so. I hope so. The point I'm trying to make is that I noticed something unexpected in your emotions. Now stop hiding and come out where we can see you. Bailiff, please bring the witness a few replacement cushions. So what was this unexpected thing you noticed? Oh, come on! His Honor's had a few cushions, not a few dozen. Now that we've all had a good laugh, please continue, Miss Sykes. Who's laughing? Arg, focus in. Don't let yourself get rattled. Don't let yourself get pillow rattled. When you entered the room and saw your master slumped motionless over the table, you weren't the least bit shocked, Wendo. Don't you think that's a little odd? I'm sure a lot of things were hilarious in Japanese. It's tough. I know it's tough. Whatever. Is it, though? The lack of surprise means you were prepared for what you saw. And I think I know why. Do you? The reason I wasn't shaken when he saw his dead monitor was because he was zoned out. No, he knew about his master's death. Wendo, I think maybe the reason you weren't shaken was because you already knew you would find your master dead. Oh, I didn't know. Wait, is that... From the back, it looked like the hair was actually also a fan. Like he had one fan that was colored black that he was holding up there. Maybe not. What? What kind of a thing is that to say? You've got it all wrong. Oh, right. I just remembered something. I thought Shisho was just sleeping when I first saw him. Hee. You thought he was sleeping? It sounds plausible, but... What made you think he was asleep? Well, he had his head and arms up on the table as if he were taking a nap. Oh, and one other thing. There was that note, too. A note? What note? He must be talking about this. It appears to have been written by the victim. Allow me to read it. Resting. Do not disturb. Yes, that's the note I saw. After reading that, who wouldn't think Shisho was napping? That is a pretty reasonable assumption. You've got to be kidding me. Thought to be written by the victim before his death, as all notes written by the victim are. He didn't write any notes after his death. That's right. I saw this note, so that's why I thought Shisha was asleep. I want to change my testimony to include that statement. All right, I'll run an update. Cake Foxy arises. I'm sad that he's sleeping. We were gonna get soba, but if he's asleep, no soba. Went to visit him, happy. Called to him from outside, happy. He didn't reply, happy. When I opened the door, I thought he was sleeping, and I felt nothing. But something seemed off, so I rushed over to him. Angry? I was shocked to find him dead. I couldn't believe my eyes. There was one emotion that seems out of place given Wendo's actions and statements. I wonder why he felt that particular emotion then. If you've noticed something, then hurry up and point it out already. I know. I'm just trying to be thorough, that's all. Looked to me like you were just being timid. I was not. You just watched me pinpoint the heck out of his emotions. Wendo, I noticed something funny in your emotions again. Funny, you say? I guess an entertainer of my caliber can make people laugh, even with my emotions. I didn't mean that kind of funny. Quite the opposite, actually. When you entered the dressing room, I see that you suddenly felt anger. What I want to know is what made you feel angry all of a sudden? What? Let's see. Oh yeah, now I remember. As I was going in, I whacked my little piggy on something. I was annoyed at my own clumsiness. Tee. Wait, you mean you stubbed your pinky toe? Just a little bump on my little piggy. No big deal. It's embarrassing, really. Sounds more like he's hiding something. I'd better dig a bit deeper. Eternal resting. If you can disturb, go for it. But I'll probably move random objects around your house forever if you do. I don't really see anything you could have stubbed your toe on in the area around the dressing room door in this picture. But maybe there was something there at the time? Wendo, what exactly did you stub your toe on? What an irrelevant question. You dishonor the soul of the victim with these unnecessary delays. You tell her. Really, who doesn't stub their toe every once in a while? You really gotta fuss over every small detail like this? Well, the thing is... Is it? I missed it. I'll have to look out for it. Even the most subtle fluctuations in a person's psyche can clue us into the truth. That's why it's important to get to the bottom of this question. Plus, if I back down now, who knows what new insult Simon will hurl my way. Is there really no trace of what Wendo stubbed his toe on by the door? What in the world might have been there then, but is not there now? Anything? This package? I noticed that the TV is unplugged, which is interesting. I have no reason to think automatically that it's the TV, like that's a gigantic leap. Like, to think, oh, I stubbed my toe on the TV, and then I moved it. No, maybe he did.
Take that!
Take a good look at this photo of the crime scene. What is that? Wait, did I select the TV, but it gave it to me because of the table? The real answer was the table. This long track that goes from the door to all the way across the room? No, wait. What do you mean all the way across the... What are we talking about? Now that you mention it, I do seem... Okay, what is it? Is it the... And the drag mark ends... Okay, I'm not crazy. There's a table on the screen right now, right? I'm not hallucinating it. Did I... I don't have a carbon monoxide detector off. Is that what's happening? I'm dying of carbon monoxide poisoning, and it's causing me to hallucinate a table which is blocking the entire part of the picture that they're talking about? No. Okay, yeah. There's the little miss of white powder. The drag mark ends there at the TV. No, it doesn't. The entire carpet from here to the TV is obscured. There is nothing. Space of... Oh, okay. I see it now. I thought they were talking about just this little part right here. Okay. Alright, the white dust. Okay. I really thought that they meant, like, just this drag... Like, this tiny little bit right here. Okay. Carbon monoxide levels are returning to normal. I think I'm okay. This implies that the TV was originally by the door. I'm convinced that this TV is the object the witness stubbed his toe on. Well, Wendo, how about it? You're right. It was the TV. I've been smoking some fan. There, the noise level dropped again. Yes, I stubbed my pinky toe on the TV. But what of it? Why is this so important to you? So the noise went down, but it hasn't completely disappeared yet. Which means he's still hiding something. Okay, then let's try this tactic instead. Wendo, why was the TV moved there? Shisho must have moved it so he could watch my routine. But what a place to put it, right in the middle of the doorway like that. I didn't want to bump into it again, so I put it back where it belonged. Performances on stage can be viewed in the dressing room using that TV. That's right, it's a closed-circuit monitor that shows the stage. No, it isn't, it's a TV. No, it isn't, it's a TV. I see. Now what? I can't find anything else out of place. And I still haven't gotten the noise level down to 0 yet. Simon, I'm still getting noise here, but I don't see anything else fishy. This is precisely why amateurs are such a bother. Sorry. I'm in no mood to play nursemaid here, but if that's what it takes to save the soba shop. Oi, Wendo. Here's a curiosity for you. This table Master Tornado is slumped over looks like it was moved. Did you happen to bump into it while you were moving the TV back? Oh my, yes, you're right. The TV hit the table and Shisho's body moved with a jolt. That's when I first realized that Shisho was dead. Oh, but how scared I was. I see. Thank you. We're finally getting a more precise picture of how the body was discovered.
But I'd wager you need to put the spurs to Window just a trifle longer.
Right. I can't keep asking Simon to bail me out like this. It's time for me to regain my footing and really stand on my own. Wendo, what you said just now about discovering your master's death, could you please describe all of that again for the court, in detail? All right. But before you do, let me just plug in the latest information. Went to visit Shisho. Stubbed my toe on the TV and got angry. I'm not really seeing any emotions I'd consider out of place. How about you, Simon?
How many times are you going to come running to me?
I guess it's the fact that the surprise got so much higher after looking at him. No, I was just looking for a second opinion.
Well, take another good look at the flow of emotions. Don't just look for simple inconsistencies. Look at the intensity of his emotions, too.
I see. Thanks, Simon. That's odd. After the initial shock of finding the victim dead, you reacted with surprise again. What was it that surprised you, Wendo, besides your master's death? What do you mean? What's more, you were even more surprised the second time than the first. Why is he so hesitant? I don't know. Don't they have a past? Didn't she kill his parents or something? Probably. It's a Phoenix Wright game, so probably. What could have surprised you more than finding your late master? Search me, your little thingy must have made a mistake.
Silence.
The girl's as sharp as a trout, to be sure. But her ability to hear people's emotions is absolute. Now, get to remembering, Window. What was it that surprised you?
That was a compliment, right? Well, No, we've pushed him too hard, and now he's mentally all over the place. His emotions are completely out of control.
Out of control? Care to explain how that's relevant?
You know how normally I listen for the hidden emotions in a witness's voice, right? From there, I look for inconsistencies between their testimony and those emotions. But sometimes a person's feelings can run too high, making it hard to get proper readings.
So that's how your Matrix program works. Fascinating.
Ordinarily, it's just one emotion that runs out of control, but it seems there's nothing ordinary about this time. Now what do I do?
Yeah, buddy. What's got your knickers all in a bunch now?
Window has multiple emotions running out of control at the same time. I've never seen anything like this. Ever.
So how does one bring a situation like this back under control?
I'll have to find the root cause of this tangled mess before I can treat him. It's just like DDR. If I can identify what is causing this emotional rampage, then I can tap Probe to dive in further. I'll need to point out what I think is the root cause and touch Probe again. Through this process, I can identify exactly what's causing Wendo so much distress.
And that will help bring his emotions back under control? that case, let's get started, shall we?
Alright, I can't guarantee success, but it's definitely worth a shot. Yeah, it's something like he spent like a decade in jail on death row because he was suspected, or no, he was convicted of murdering her parents when really he thought that it was her that did it, but then it turned out that it was somebody else. I guess. That sounds about right. Time to look for the root cause of Wendo's rampaging emotions. Oh, yeah, I had it exactly right. Oh, the cards are still in the correct order right now. I get it now. The cards were the root of it all. Oh, the other type of fan. I get it. That's funny. Don't try to deny it. You can't hide your feelings from me. The dying message that was left at the scene of the crime is what was causing your distress. And if the dying message was the cause of all those feelings, then that means the phrase Owen Forth must mean something to you. Ugh. Bye-bye. There. Noise level 0. Finally. The dying message consists of 2 words, Owen and Forth. But neither of these words have anything to do with this witness. This topic warrants no further argument. Sure, there may not seem to be any direct connection between Wendo and the message. For now. But why don't you wait and decide what's necessary after you hear my theory? I trust you've hit upon something, Athena. Yep, if my theory is right, we can finally solve the case of Wendo and the mysterious Owen Forth. Well, go on then. I can already tell this promises to be interesting. Now, please share your theory with the court, Miss Sykes. There was something puzzling to me about Wendo's out-of-control emotions just now. I thought to myself, is this a puzzle? Namely, that there were 3 distinct reactions present. I had never seen that before, and I wondered how it could be possible. Is there a conclusion to this meandering musing of yours? Hold your horses, I'm getting there. So, could a person flip between 3 distinct emotions of such intensity like a switch? In the end, I concluded that it just wasn't possible. So that's it, is it? A bit unconventional, but I'll grant that it's it's possible within the realm of psychology. Within the realm of psychology? I'm afraid you'll have to explain it for the old man up here on the bench. Your Honor, my theory is that Wendo has multiple personalities just like everybody in every Phoenix Wright game. No, we totally didn't. We had in the last game, in every game really, In every one of the games now, there's somebody with multiple personalities. With so many distinct personas, it's clear to me that Wendo has dissociative identity disorder. We're just gonna diagnose him right here on the stand.
What does that even mean?
Your Honor, the defense would like to treat this trial as a child's jest. Multiple personality disorder. A preposterous proposition indeed. Would you not agree, witness? How did she know? How did she figure it out?
Pokunka!
I can't believe it. I did it. I did it, Simon. I've read papers on it before, but to think I'd see a case of it for myself.
Blimey, I guess. Rakugo artists tell stories as different characters, but as different personalities.
Hey you, lawyer girl. You got a problem with us, huh? No? No problem at all.
Maybe not.
I mean, there have been... Okay, so the guy from the last game was like a sociopath where he doesn't experience any emotions at all. That was his deal. They've had... No, I guess it's just that there are so many people who have like dual identities of some kind. Like Matt on guard. Like Dahlia. Like... Man, freaking everybody. Everybody who does their like this is my real me face. There's Batty and whoever from earlier in this game. No. Was that last game? I don't even remember what game, but it was we detected that they were actually a different person. They were twins. And each one of them was a different personality, and one of them was pretending to be the other. That's probably the kind of what I'm thinking of. Massive mood springs, but none of them properly had DID as diagnosed by a 19-year-old with a doctorate in European psychology.
This is all very hard to believe, but now that we've established that the victim witness has multiple personalities. Could each of them please introduce themselves to this court?
Wendo Tornado. I'm a Rakugo storyteller, as you know. Hello, everybody. Patches, the friendly jester here. Hehe. Kisegawa. Courtesan. And is that all of you? Yes, that's all of us. So there are 3 personalities in total. Wendo, Patches, and Kisegawa, huh? Well, Simon, what do you think now?
That you're one lucky duck. Just be glad they were dense enough to help you out.
Oh, can't you just straight up say I did great for a change? Not... I'm sorry. I do have my all of psychology textbook right here next to my all of law textbook, and the game is perfectly accurate on both counts. So, I'm afraid you'll just have to be wrong. Also, you bet there's a Owen fourth. Maybe there is. You appear to be quite proud of your self-defense, but all you have done is infringe upon the privacy of the witness. I didn't sign no HIPAA contract. I couldn't disagree more, prosecutor. Now that we know there are 3 personalities, a new way for us to interpret the meaning of a certain piece of evidence has arisen. A new interpretation.
Oh, now I'm very curious. What is this piece of evidence you're talking about, Ms. Sykes?
Knowing what we know about Wendo and his personalities, this now makes perfect sense. Wait, this...
This?
Take that!
The Karuta cards.
That's right, Your Honor. Recall the original dying message left at the scene. We didn't have a clue as to what Owen Forth could have possibly meant. But now, with this new information about Wendo and his personalities, isn't it possible that Owen Forth actually means a secret fourth personality of Wendo's, a personality named Owen? What? Ban faded. They were seconds away from revealing it. Polkunka! Wendo must have kept his dissociative identity disorder from us because he didn't want to be associated in any way with that dying message. No, that's not why. We kept our disorder a secret for a different reason altogether. We've been taking advantage of our affliction to act out various Rakugo characters. If word of this got out, well, our reputation as a Rakugo artist would be tarnished, as would the Tornado name. That's why we kept it a secret from everyone except members of the Tornado School. But really, there is no fourth personality. It's just the three of us in here.
A plausible enough sounding story. But it doesn't prove you didn't rearrange the cards, does it?
But... I will concede that it is highly likely that the witness rearranged the cards. Is Prosecutor Sadmati actually agreeing with us? However, is it not also possible that the accused killed Master Tornado? There we were, the three of us. And then left that message in order to frame the witness. Oops. And upon noticing the cards when he found the victim's body, Wendo rearranged them.
A fantastic tale, but a tale nonetheless. No one outside the Tornado School knew about Wendo's multiple personalities. Wendo just finished saying so himself.
That is a true but ultimately meaningless point. The witness was only in the dressing room for 2 to 3 minutes. That's far too little time to commit murder, wouldn't you say?
Objection!
No! No, it's not. Then who's to say who couldn't have done it before his discovery? Almost spilled the soda. That spring chick memory of yours. Have you already forgotten Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony? Simon's testimony? Oh!
Gale escorted me to the dressing room, but we heard the sound of Rakugo being performed from within. Thinking the master was rehearsing, we decided to wait in the hall until he was done.
That's right. Until just a few moments before Wendo entered the dressing room, Taifu Tornado was confirmed to still be alive. Arng! Non! Not only that, but Wendo was on stage until just before he discovered the body, so the TV was plugged in and they were hearing the TV because it's a closed-circuit TV that lets you watch other people performing. Got it! A bulletproof alibi that I have already confirmed with several audience members. Oh, no! I also heard that his Rakugo performance that day was a steaming pile of... Well, you get the picture. Yes, I'm afraid so. Really stunk up the stage, I did. And yet, I have a perfect alibi. Indeed. Why not land the coup de grace on the defense by describing your alibi witness? Who is this smart second person? I always get Phoenix Wright stuff right away. Get it? That's a word pun. Okie dokie smoky. I was on stage until just moments before I went into the dressing room. The entire audience was my witness. But my performance was a huge bust. Not a single soul laughed. I'll never be able to live down how terribly I bombed during that very important show. What about the TV? The TV, I guess, was plugged in. It's a... Where's our TV information? The TV can be used to monitor the stage from the dressing room. So that was what was that was the Rakugo that was being performed that they heard. So he killed him first, then went on stage. They came by, heard him performing on stage, didn't go in. Bucky went in, was in there for 10 minutes arguing with a corpse like a dum-dum, then left, and then he came in as a different personality, as not Owen, banged his foot, moved the TV, saw the corpse, saw the cards, and rearranged them to frame Bucky. So this is weird. Why is this a short chapter? Something weird's gonna happen. No, there's still the soda cans. We've still got a long ways to go until we crack this. Oh. Hang on. Alright, so when it was on we could not find a crime. It is time to let it all go, defense, and move on. Well, get this, Prosecutor Sadmati. The Wright Anything Agency never gives up. We fight to the bitter end. Fih. Allow me to say this once more.
If you
Blind umpire, hello.
All right. Can't do it if you're leering at me. It's creepy.
Thank you very much for the host. We are knee deep in Phoenix Wright. Let it go and move on. And allow me to say once more, I'm never giving up. Let it go and never. This is pointless. He put the necklace back on just to tear it back off again. You should have taken advantage of this opportunity while you could, you foolish child. Your worthless convictions only serve to prolong the accused's suffering. If words will not sway you, then perhaps pain will. Oh no! Anything but this. No super combos during court. Whatever the phrase is. Whatever the phrase is for let it go and move on. He's a real big fan of whatever that was in Japanese, and they just kept it. What's the big idea, Prosecutor Sadmati? That was but a small dose of punishment for your misguided convictions. Are you now a bit more inclined to give up as instructed? As if... In that case, you must require another dose. Not bloody likely. I don't give two flips about your beliefs, pardon my European. But if Sykes don't know where to submit to you here, I won't be able to eat good soba anymore. That's right. For Mr. Wet's future and Prosecutor Blackwell's stomach, I will never give up. You will rue those words, defense. Of that I can assure you. He rue.
Hold it!
How can we sure it was you who was on stage? Are you asking whether it could have been some imposter? I guess so. Unlike a big arena, a Rakugo theater is a cozy little place. It would be hard to fool an audience in such an intimate setting, don't you think? Yeah, I guess you're right. Good. I'm glad we could clear that up, because I guess you could say, is it going to be a joke? Are you about to pun? Oh, no, he's just going to say his next line.
Hold it!
Was there anything special about the stage or your performance that you can tell me? For example, were the lights dimmer than usual? Were there any problems or accidents? Not a thing. Everything was the same as always. Mr. Prosecutor, you questioned the audience, didn't you? Yes, of course. Apparently, nothing seemed amiss to them except, well, one small thing. One small thing? Oh, it's so embarrassing. I tried my best. Really, I did. But my performance was a huge bust. Not a single soul laughed. Do you have any idea what went wrong? I'm not sure if it was my performance or if it was just that particular audience. Or maybe it was the story I picked. But every entertainer knows that this kind of thing happens from time to time. I guess that makes sense. Still, I wonder how he could have flopped at his own commemorative show. Maybe I should dig into things a bit more. Could you tell me which Rakugo story you performed? I could, but I'm not sure if it would mean anything to the uninitiated. Well, even if I might not get it, can't you at least try me? Alright, if you insist. The story I performed is called Tokisoba, also otherwise known as Time Soba. Time Soba, huh? Maybe Wendo's right. He's only said the name of the routine, and I'm already lost. So you performed Time Soba, did you? No laughter because no lungs, of course. The audience had no lungs, and neither does anybody. Lungs don't exist in the Phoenix Wright universe. Prove me wrong. What? You know it, Prosecutor Sadmati? In the course of my studies last night, I became familiar with a number of stories. I must say, defense, you would do well to better prepare yourself for your next trial. Nothing unusual found in the lungs. No laughs in there. Simon, what's Time Soba about? Look it up yourself. Allow me to give an overview. The story takes place on a winter's night. A man orders a bowl of soba at a street stall. How you doing, sir? What can I get ya? I see you got seaweed topped hanamaki soba and mixed toppings shikobu soba. Okay. I'll have a bowl of shippoku, my good man. It sure is cold tonight, isn't it? But there's nothing like a hot bowl of noodles and soup to warm the soul. You know it, sir. One shippoku coming right up. So, how's business? Not so great, sir. Is that so? Well, that's great, because things can only get better from here, right? Wow, Prosecutor. The customer talks on and on like this. Finally, when he is done eating, he goes to pay for his soba. So how much do I owe you? That'll be 16 mon, sir. I see. Sorry, but I only have small change on me. I'll count the coins in your palm, so could you hold out your hand for me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, what time is it? It's 9, sir. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Thanks, and bye. Was it? Very well done, Prosecutor Sadmati. That was excellent. Huh? I don't get it. What was so funny about that? Don't you see? The customer paid with coins, counting them out one by one. Then just after counting 8, he asked about the time. And the soba vendor answered with 9. Oh, now I get it. He made the vendor say 9, and then he continued counting from 10. So he saved frickin' 1 penny. Who cares? That's not smooth talking. Uh-oh. Frames? It does say that I just dropped frames, yes. Well, not just. I don't know when, but yes, there were a lot of dropped frames. Apologies. The story continues with another man who saw the whole thing and tries to do the same, but he bungles the trick and ends up paying more than 16 mon for his soba. The story ends on that as the punchline. You can look up the rest of the details yourself. Or, I'm sure Prosecutor Sad Monk over there would love to perform it for you after court. So basically, it's a story about a man cheating on his soba bill. That's kind of petty, isn't it? Is that really all you have to say about this classic story? Time soba is such a well-known staple of Rakugo that this skill of the artist...
Fine, so you studied a lot. But we haven't the time for a lecture detour right now, Prosecutor Sadmonk.
I wanted to hear a little more, but I suppose it is off topic. Getting back to the matter at hand, Ms. Sykes, the witness stated that the story I performed is called Tokisoba, otherwise known as Time Soba. Would you like to add this statement to his testimony?
Yes. Yeah, of course.